I split 50 Minecraft players between 5 elemental civilizations: the Nether, the End, the Ice Spikes, the Crystal Ocean, and last but not least, the Deep Dark. Now, who would come out on top in this civilization experiment? Watch till the end to find out. The first team that played was the Nether team. They had 2 days to grind out as much loot as they can, and then the other teams would go and have their turns, and then there will be a finale day where PvP is enabled and all the teams would go to war. Now, the first couple players went out looking for some loot, and straight away found a chest, and they also found a structure which was actually a trap, and they all fell to their death one by one. One of the players on the Nether team made his way out of the Nether team spawn to try to find some structures, and that's what he did, and he became the most stacked Nether player pretty quickly. With ores being quite hard to find, a player named DosZapdos found a way to mine on the edge of the map so that all the diamonds and ores were exposed so that he could easily get lots of loot. Now, the Nether team had a chicken which they valued greatly, and they said they were going to win the civilization event for the chicken, who was called Robert. So I decided to do a little bit of trolling, and yeah, what I did next was a little bit evil to their chicken. So what I did, I dumped the chicken in the cow pen, and a couple of the Nether citizens saw me, but what they didn't see was me putting a replacement fake chicken in the same place that the real Robert the chicken had just been. I decided to show the Nether team where Robert the chicken was, but for some reason they did not think it was Robert the chicken, and for some reason they thought that the fake chicken that I put in the boat was the actual Robert. I don't know what they were really thinking, to be honest. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, Tabby just went and killed the sacred Robert the chicken, and yeah, that was pretty much the end of Robert the chicken. And then somehow the other fake chicken also died, so they decided to make a grave for Robert. And yeah, that's it for Robert's story. Now, the Nether team didn't really do much. They just grinded full diamond armor and enchants. And yeah, they were pretty much ready for the finale day. So I decided to interview them at the end of their 2 days to see what their plans were for the finale. Alright,
We're all gonna
jump.
does anybody have iron? Does anybody have iron?
Nether, what's the plan for the finale day? How are you gonna win the war?
Obviously,
Not
our
gonna
strength pots. Strength pots
just
are
gonna
going to
win.
carry a lot.
Strength pots, nice.
Strength pots are gonna do really good for
Strength
us.
pot. This will all be for Robert, by the way.
For Robert.
For Robert.
Chicken
Our
that died.
savior. He's a stupid robo. Yo, he's digging up the grave.
Yo!
Trolling, he's
Does anybody
trolling,
have
he's
anything
trolling.
they wanna
Strat
enchant?
is strength
No,
pots.
does anybody have any iron? Like 1 ingot of
I have iron.
Do you
I have
plan on
31
zero
iron.
iron.
And to be honest, there wasn't much strategy. It was just pure yap and Robert glazing. The next team to go was the End team, who had a jungle biome surrounded by multiple End islands and End cities. Their goal was to get wood, get suited up, and then try loot the End cities to try get elytras, because that was a main advantage that they would have over the other civilizations. The first player to find an End city was Amir, and straight away he looted it and got an elytra, which made it easy for him to fly around looting the other End cities to get enough elytras for his whole team and enough elytras spare for possible future alliances. The End team did very well getting resources, and their whole team was suited up in full diamond within about 30 minutes. They also found a dragon egg inside of the big dragon egg shaped structure. But yeah, the End team, they were doing very well. Had multiple horses, had fully maxed out diamond armor, and they were ready for war. The one thing that was a big struggle in the End civilization was a lack of food, but Jamel and Amir made sure that there was plenty of food, because they grew a very prosperous farm and also grew lots of sugarcane for fireworks and enchants. To be honest, nothing really happened on the end island. They basically just quickly went around and looted a bunch of structures and then just really set up camp at their spawn area and didn't really leave. And yeah, that's about it for the end team. Now, on to the next team, the Ice Spikes. The Ice Spikes spawned in onto a huge island with little to none food and also plenty of mobs and powdered snow, which were big threats to them. So it was going to be very tough for the Ice Spikes team to survive, but they had one player who had ideas of great proportions. He planned to really deceive every single team, thinking that they were allianced with him, when in reality he was just tricking them all, along with another player from a different civilization. This player's name was Brown Alison. Great PvPer, and he's known for winning multiple civilization events and conquering every Minecraft event he plays in. And he had some big plans for this civilization event. The Ice Spikes team looted a huge castle they had found, and Thornwolf and Brown Alison got pretty stacked early on thanks to some great loot they found in the castle. The other players on the Ice Spikes, Dreamin and Luke, were separated a long way away, lost deep into the Ice Spikes biome, not really knowing where any structures were or where any civilization was. Brown Alison had become the leader of the Ice Spikes team, and his grand plan to brainwash the other civilizations was all coming together. As he had now power over the Ice Spikes, it wouldn't be long before he had power over other civilizations. The Ice Spikes was probably one of the most stacked teams, as they had impaling 4 tridents, which would do crazy damage if they were to fight in water on the finale day, and they also decided to make their base up in one of the huge ice crystals. This was pretty smart because, to be honest, no other civilization would think that they would be up here, and Brown Alison also just wanted to troll a little bit and make the other civilizations think they were somewhere else and make them run all over the place trying to find them. But in reality, they were right at the border of the map, waiting and watching from their huge sky base, and no other team knew what was coming. The next team was the Crystal Ocean, one of the biggest teams with one of the nicest biomes. No real threats were in the Crystal Ocean because there were barely any mobs, no powdered snow, no lava, no void, none of the other threats that the other civilizations had, and there were plenty of trees, plenty of food, basically just like a normal Minecraft world. On the Crystal Ocean, there were 2 players who really stuck out, as they geared up very quickly and looked like real threats to the other civilizations. Swim Scorpion and Seahawk both had pretty much full diamond gear about 45 minutes in, and they were prepared to do everything to win this civilization event. The Crystal Ocean decided to make their base on a boat they found, which was also a structure, and well, the Crystal Ocean were pretty much the most geared up team, and they had the most players, but the one thing that really stuck out on the Crystal Ocean was the friendships they had all made, because they were being pretty dumb, to be honest, lighting each other on fire, blowing up TNT in front of each other. It looked like a pure vibe to be on the Crystal Ocean, but would that be enough to win the civilization event? As the Crystal Ocean wrapped up their days on the server, I decided to interview them and ask them what their plans were for the finale day. Alright, Crystal Ocean, what's your guys' thoughts on your first 2 days?
They could have got better.
Chaotic, very
Yeah,
chaotic.
very chaotic. I see you guys burnt down your boat.
But like, we got some good loot
My
out
vote,
of it.
thanks very much.
What's your guys'
My vote,
plans
thank
for
you very
the
much.
final battle day?
Not die.
Talk to our
Not die.
ally
Throw
Dino.
Dylan off a bridge.
Talk to our ally Dino. Get some plans. Fight, kill everybody, and hopefully win. Okay, so we're selling.
Gosh, this is such a good team, innit? And yeah, the Crystal Ocean was looking like one hell of a vibe. But on to the fifth and final civilization, the Deep Dark. Now, the Deep Dark was probably the toughest biome. Had no sunlight, there were millions of mobs everywhere, there were wardens that could spawn, and they also had one of the smallest teams, as not many of their players showed up to the event. And yeah, it was going to be one hell of a task for the Deep Dark to do well in this civilization event. The first thing the Deep Dark team did was go and loot a village they found close to their spawn area, and yeah, let's just say lots of their players died looting this village. Now, the Deep Dark was really struggling. They were dying left, right and centre. Wardens were spawning. Hordes of zombies were attacking them. Until one player called Dinotude decided to change their team's fortunes by going on a mining trip. And I'll tell you one thing, this mining trip was hella successful. Dino returned back to the center island with about 70 diamonds, which was crazy, and it was enough diamonds to suit up his whole team. Now, one thing that was very important for the Deep Dark was that they didn't have many players, so they decided to make an alliance with the Crystal Ocean, and the Deep Dark and the Crystal Ocean's plans was to create world peace and defeat the Nether and the Ice Spikes. But would that be possible? They would have to wait for the finale day to find out. And before anyone knew it, the finale day was upon all 5 civilizations. The Nether and the End had teamed up, the Crystal Ocean and the Deep Dark had teamed up, and the Ice Spikes were hiding in their sky base high above the rest of the world. The events that unfolded on this finale day was something purely crazy. So sit back, relax and enjoy, because this was a war that you do not want to miss. The finale day started off with pretty much every single team playing defensively. Brown Alison and Thornwolf were holding the fort out in the Ice Spikes, as they were the only team without an alliance. They were all on their own, but that's what everyone thought. But Brown Alison had some different plans. He was secretly working with a member of the Nether team, and their goal was to take out all the other players and civilizations and to be the last 2 players standing at the end of this crazy civilization event. For about the first 40 minutes, nothing happened and all 5 teams played defensively until the Crystal Ocean had enough and decided to go on the attack. Firstly, on their way to the Ice Spikes biome, and they would follow it by going through the Nether and the End. As the Crystal Ocean made their way into the Ice Spikes, they met up with their teammate Dino Dude and S8, who were part of the Deep Dark biome and had come to help them defeat the Nether and the End. And Brown Alison also saw this huge alliance crossing into his biome, but he decided to leave it because he was not ready to take a 1v10. Over in the End, the Nether team and the End team had continued enchanting their stuff, and they were preparing for war because they knew it was not going to be easy, and they knew that there was another alliance brewing between the other teams. The first death of the event was the death of Swim Scorpion. I wasn't able to record it, but this is what happened. Him and his team were travelling over a floating island looking for Brown Alison in the Ice Spikes when Swim Scorpion fell off the floating island and fell to his death. After Swim Scorpion died, the Crystal Ocean decided to have a meeting with the Deep Dark teammates Dino and S8, and the new Ice Spikes teammate Fawnwolf. And Fawnwolf wasn't who she said she was. She was actually a spy for Brown Ailison, and she was also told to try to assassinate the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance's best player, Dino Dude, because Brown knew Dino was a huge threat. That's why he gave Fawnwolf the task of eliminating Dino. The next death that happened was the death of Amir, who had to leave the game, so his teammates just executed him. Questionable, but yeah, that's what happened. Nothing much really happened for the next 20 minutes. The Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance continued their journey to the end. They didn't want to have to go through the Deep Dark, so they decided to go around and go through the Ice Spikes, Nether, and into the end, because they had heard from somebody that the Nether and the End teams were at the End team's spawn, so they decided to head there to try to take them out and to finish this once and for all. After an extremely long journey, the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance had finally made it into the End biome, and now they were trying to find out where the End and Nether team were, so they could make a final stand and end this civilization experiment. But the trip into the End biome wasn't easy, and when none of the players were looking, Fawnwolf, Brown Ailison's spy, cheekily hit Spring9 into the void, and he fell to his death. And even though they had made it to the End team biome, they had still lost many troops on their mission to defeat the End and the Nether. And just as both teams were about to make their final stand, Fawnwolf attempted to assassinate Dino to fulfill Brown Ailison's wish and to change the civilization event forever. And while getting shot at, Fawnwolf failed her task of assassinating Dino and fell to her death. And now both teams were stuck on the same island, and war was about to break out. And as the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance battled the Nether in the End, Brown Ailison pulled up. The Ice Spikes member, the last remaining Ice Spikes member. And even though he was tricking Dino's team and saying that he was on their team, when the battle started, he decided to betray and join his Nether comrade Tabby. Yes, it was Tabby. The player who had valued the Nether team's chicken had now turned to violence and to the dark side with Brown Ailison, and their plan was to take over the server and kill everybody. both teams backed up onto different parts of the river. No one had died yet, but that was about to change as many players were about to fall. And the leader of the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance, Dino Dude, was in very big trouble. He was fighting 2v1s and 3v1s and was getting hard targeted by the Nether and the End Alliance, and the battle was becoming more and more epic by the second. Somehow all the players managed to survive for quite a bit, but as the fight went on, many more would begin to fall. And the first player to die in this huge battle was Philography, who was killed by Pizza from the End team, and the Crystal Ocean was down a player early on in the finale. And from then on, players would begin falling left, right, and center.
We're 42 at least.
Oh no.
Someone just died.
Wait, where's everyone else? Where's everyone else? What's the rest of the team? Is everyone else dead?
Oh, I'm dead. I'm so dead. I'm going across a. Oh no.
Wait,
They're not
CSA,
chasing me,
CSA,
they're not chasing me,
CSA.
they're
I
not
don't have
chasing me.
anything to heal.
I survived that.
CSA,
Dino,
is that you that
don't
said
get
that?
out, bro. Oh boy.
I'm
CSA, do you need
separated.
stuff? Do you need
He has
stuff?
knockback. He has so much knockback.
Jamez, bro.
Don't
I'm
fight me,
separated.
please. I'm in your
Get
team.
down and fight, bro. We're
SA, do you need stuff? Do you need stuff?
Mate, I'm separated from everyone. I'm cooked.
I've got some food if you need it.
I'm separated. Jammers, I've gone like. I've gone this.
And with the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark team panicking and Dino Dude, their leader, nearly falling into the void multiple times due to the knockback swords that the opposition had, they decided to make one final stand with SA Dino and Seahawk and Lego Dragon, who was also returning after running off to try to regain some health. And all of a sudden, the battle started to turn around as Seahawk killed Pizza. It was the first kill for the Crystal Ocean and Deep Dark Alliance, but this gave them hope that they could win this war. And they got even more hope when Infinity died, a member of the Nether team. So with two of the Nether and End Alliance players gone in a matter of seconds, this battle was anyone's for the taking. with Seahawk getting yet another kill, taking out Stick Friends from the Nether team, all of a sudden it was the Nether and End Alliance in big trouble. But then Brown Alison turned it all around after he killed Seahawk, who had been doing most of the killing and been taking out most of the End and Nether players. And with one of their best soldiers gone, the battle was back to being all even. And after Brown Alison went on a massacre, killing Seahawk, SA and Lego Dragon, 3 of the strongest Crystal Ocean players, it was now Tabby, Jamel and Brown Alison against the last remaining member of the Deep Dark and the Deep Dark and Crystal Ocean Alliance, Dino Dude. Dino had a 3v1 to take, but Dino, he's one of the best PvPers, and if there was going to be one player to win a 3v1, it was going to be him. And after several minutes of negotiating and talking, Dino and Brown decided to 1v1. They decided to fight it out to see who was the strongest player of this civilization event, and to see if this civilization event would take a turn. Would Dino get the win and give himself chances of winning the event, or would Brown win and take home victory in the civilization event? Completing his goal of taking over the civilization event and defeating all the other teams, there was just one last thing for him and Tabby to do, and that was take out Jamel, the last remaining player from the End team. And with Jamel getting sent into the void, Brown and Tabby had completed their goal of becoming the winners of this civilization event. They had fooled everybody and had taken out the W in this crazy civilization experiment. And yeah, I just want to jump in here at the end and say thank you to everyone who helped make this event happen, and thank you to everyone who participated in it, because they are the people who made it truly epic. And congratulations to Brown, Alison and Tabby for winning the event. They really outplayed everyone. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!